Good evening. You're listening to The Good Evening Show with your hosts, Henry Van Loon,
and Adrian Mann,
with tonight's guests, Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel, animal activist Lonnie Banks, and folk singer Genuine Jenkins. Tonight is August 24th, 2017, and you're listening to The Good Evening Show. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, thank you for joining us again back at The Good Evening Show.
Welcome.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Hey, I have something to say before we start the show today, Adrian.
Oh, it sounds serious.
Yeah, it's the list of the people who are on the show today.
Oh, okay.
It's
sure.
Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel, animal activist Lonnie Banks, and I'm kind of excited about this one, Adrian. Folk singer Genuine Jenkins will be in studio today for a performance.
Genuine Jenkins,
It's the actual, real, Genuine Jenkins.
So we didn't get an impersonator this time.
No, I checked.
Well, that's good.
Well, I mean,
it's good to do some research, at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You sound like my AP history teacher. Which reminds me, our next guest and our first guest is Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel, and I'm excited to bring him out. So let's bring him on into the studio.
Here, let me, I actually got to go to the bathroom. Why don't I'll let him in as I leave.
I asked you if you had to go before we started.
Well, it's not really up to my control. It's nature, so.
I figured we'd have two hosts, and we'd have two hosts interviewing one guest.
That's cool, bro.
Wash your hands, okay? Let's bring in Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel. Senator Jeffrey Percel is the senior senator from Wyoming State from his district. He's been working in the district for over 20 years and pushing through legislation that crosses the aisles to make not only his district, his city and his county, but also the state and the nation forward and into the 21st century. I'd like to introduce Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, for sure, man. That was a really great intro. I really dug that a lot.
Thanks.
This is a nice little studio here.
Yeah. This is our podcasting studio.
Yeah.
Do I call you Senator Percel?
Yeah, you could just call me Purse. My buddies just call me that, Purse. It's a more recent nickname, but I'm feeling it.
Yeah. You wouldn't. I'm probably still going to call you Senator Percel if that's okay with you.
Sure, man. Whatever gets you where you're going.
So yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. You've been a state senator for nearly 20 years, reelected.
20 years? Whoa, that's crazy. That's a long time, man.
It's
20 years as senator.
I'm reading here that you're working to cross the aisles with your bipartisan colleagues in the state senate in Wyoming to pass some important legislation in Wyoming.
Oh yeah, man. You want to talk about work stuff? Yeah, we got some new programs going on in Wyoming. It's pretty great. But the one that I'm most excited about right now is this new initiative that my department kind of came up with. And it's it's called Illegalize It. And it's all about, I don't know if you know about this scourge in America right now.
You said illegalize it.
Yeah, bro.
Sure.
It's like this a terrible substance
the scourge.
In some places. Yeah, it's a scourge, bro. It's a scourge.
So to which scourge are you referring, Senator?
It's called marijuana.
Okay,
and it's pervasive in the culture. So you've probably seen it or heard about it once or twice and thought, it's no big deal, but it ruins lives and it breaks down communities and it's destroying the moral fabric of the youth of America. And so recently there's been a sort of legislative push, if you will, to kind of legalize this scourge. And I just think it's about time that somebody pushed back, you know?
So I have to admit, I don't know a whole lot about Wyoming, but it sounds like marijuana is becoming a bigger and bigger problem in your state.
Oh yeah, it's like it's coming over the borders. You know, it's like we can't even keep a lid on it, bro. It's spilling out like so much Mountain Dew over the side of you know, what do you call it?
Like a mountain?
Like a bit, yeah, or like a big gulp. So when we see this, like we as a responsible adults, we have to just take a chill minute, you know, and be like, bro, what's going on? Like seriously though.
So I know.
And so me and my bros, you know, we'll just sit around in a circle at the summit or the Senate. We call it the summit. But we just sit around and we rap, you know. It's like we talk about what kind of future do we want to leave for our children.
That's very important. I know that recent legislation in some of the neighboring states like Colorado.
Oh, Colorado's the worst, bro. You can like just walk it, like anybody could just walk into a local like store and just buy it there. And then they come over to my home state and they're like spreading around all these like negative vibes.
So as a senator, you know, it's kind of your job to be the face of this campaign and to help educate your constituents. What are some things that Wyoming citizens can do? How can they recognize if marijuana if this scourge is entering their communities?
Right. It is a scourge, and it's pervasive in the culture, dude. It's like everywhere now. I'm sorry. What was the question?
My question is, what are the signs of marijuana use? How can you tell if this scourge has entered your community or your home?
Well, like things get a whole lot less mellow. Okay, like what you got to look for is like people like forgetting about who they are and just being like counter intuitive to the culture. You know what I'm saying, man? It's like society is telling you to look through a lens that they're holding it up to you, you know, and they're like, look through this lens. And when you're looking through it, you're like, I don't see what you want me to, but it sneaks up on you because while you're looking through this lens, there's this whole other thing happening. You know what I'm saying?
Not exactly, but if I can counter something, I just to play devil's advocate, I've seen recent numbers saying that like there's a tax surplus in the budget in states that have legalized marijuana.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like they're doing okay. Like their pocketbooks are fat, you know. But if that's what life is about for you, then I don't know how to help you, bro. You know what I mean? It's like if all you're looking about is how to get the bottom line to a higher place, then like you're lost, bro. It's about your community and like what kind of world are you leaving for your children, you know? Like, do you want them to be in a world that just has a scourge everywhere? Like, that's just on their doorstep? Like, or would you rather them be safe, you know, just like have certain things illegal? Like this scourge, marijuana.
So when you meet in the summit or the Senate with your fellow state senators, what's the pulse? What's the feeling among other legislators regarding this scourge?
Well, they're hip to it, you know. They're with me. They're like, yeah, bro, we get what you're saying, but like, is it really such a big deal? And I'm like, yeah, it's a big deal for sure. Because like when you want to like hang out with your bros, you know, and just keep it lazy and easy, you don't have to want to worry about like all this bad juju coming into your circle, you know? Like that's why we got to keep this stuff out.
I'm sorry. This is probably bad hosting. I just want to be clear. I understand. anti-pot? Like you're against marijuana?
You gotta illegalize it,
Okay.
man. It's too pervasive in the culture.
Sure.
It's everywhere, and it's not cool, man. Like, people say you could just roast up a tasty bone and just relax and chill out with your bros. And yeah, that's good for a while. But what about your children, man?
I'm getting a note here from my PA that's saying that marijuana is currently already illegal in Wyoming.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. Well, my bad, dude. My bad. It's something yeah, you're right, dude. Yeah. So what's going on with you?
I was just wondering if maybe you had any other legislative initiatives or what else is on your docket?
That's all I could really remember that's been going on lately. I mean, I got some personal things going on if you want to rap about that, bro.
Well, sure. Yeah, we have some time in our segment here if you want to talk about...
So, Cynthia thinks that she's above all of it now, and I don't know what the deal with that is.
You mean real personal?
Yeah, she's
okay.
She's calling me up, and she's like, I don't know why you keep wanting to come over and tell me that I can't roast this tasty bone and just hang out with my bros. And I'm like, Cynthia, I told you... It's because marijuana is illegal and it should be because it's bad.
Cynthia, I don't...
She's such a stuck-up, non-cool bro.
When all a senator really needs sometimes is a kind bud.
Just yeah, man. You get it.
Sure.
You want to hang out after this? Maybe we go hang out by the beach. And,
well, I'm recording a podcast right now.
Smoke a little bit and just hang out. Your bros. Hang, let's just be cool.
What do you mean if I'm cool?
You don't have to be like a narc on me. I'm a senator. I'm one of the good ones.
Absolutely. I mean.
It can be cool, bro. We could just hang. We could get some cold ones and just smoke a couple J-Bones down at the beach and just, put up the stereo nice and loud, put on some Sugar Ray, you know what I'm saying? And just get crazy and get loose like good old times, like in the 90s when it was cool, Hey, I don't know where I parked my car. Do you have somebody that could check on that for me, or should I just, go out and...
Well, I tell you what, my assistant here, my PA, can help you with that, because that's probably a good place to wrap up our segment here.
Okay, yeah. So we'll hang at the beach later, though. We'll catch up.
Sure.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, all right. So we're going to go? Yeah.
So Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel and his legislative initiative, Illegalize It, you can find out more with your trusted news sources. We'll be right back after this short break with animal activist Lonnie Banks. Hey, it's us, your hosts, Henry.
And Adrian.
Hey, Adrian, don't you just hate it when...
Yeah, I do.
I didn't even say what it was yet.
I'm just a hateful person.
Oh, well, I think I know the problem. Don't you just hate it when you're listening to your favorite podcast and there's all sorts of, annoying and, hard-to-believe commercials right in the middle of the podcast?
With flute solos?
I'm cool with those, but, when the host is, trying to get you to buy a mattress or some sort of delivery food thing, and you're like,
I'd really appreciate it if they wouldn't.
Well, I have special news for our listeners. If they are like me and hate those ads, they can sign up for the Good Evening Show Premium.
Good Evening Show Premium?
Well, yeah, good question, Adrian. It's the same content, but minus all of these annoying advertisements in the middle and at the, every time you're just trying to listen to the show.
Right. So how does it work?
Well, you just pay a lot of money and you get a shorter version of the podcast with no ads. And that's not all. If you want to hear the podcast without any information at all, you can get the Good Evening Show Super Premium.
Super Premium.
Yeah, it's just twice as much money, and you get an even shorter, more cut-down version of the show. You can find it on iTunes.
And welcome back to the Good Evening Show. Your host, Adrian Wolfman here, and we have here our next guest. noted animal activist, Lonnie Banks. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Adrian. Thanks for. I brought some friends for you today.
Oh, is that what the commotion backstage was?
Yeah, we got a whole menagerie of critters and a whole crew of animals for you to get up close and personal with, just for the podcast today.
All right, a menagerie and animals. It's kind of strange you'd bring it on a podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
All right, let's get rolling. What is this guy you have?
All right, this is a ring-faced lemur.
Ring-faced lemur?
Ring-faced, yeah. No, he's going to want to get up right close to you.
Yeah, he's definitely
Now, he's searching
violating
for all of
personal
your.
space.
He's looking for every scent gland he can find on you there,
right.
Adrian.
It's I only got the one.
Now, you'll see, if you look real close, no, you can't see his face, but if you look close at a ring-faced lemur's anus, you can see a series of rings. This is how we assess the lemur's age.
It looks like a 40-year-old lemur.
Mm-hmm. Now, he's interesting. Good question. He only eats the Venus flytrap, which is 100% of his diet.
That's interesting. Is a Venus fly so indigenous to areas where Venus flytraps grow.
Yeah, just that certain area of Peru, and there's a couple in Gary, Indiana.
Why is he trying to eat my pocket?
Yeah, it's all about pheromones. Is it possible you have a Venus flytrap pheromone in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see the lemur? If you know what, a little bit of zoo humor there for you, Adrian. We like to say that one a lot. You'll probably hear it from me again later in the show. All right, we'd like to bring out this critter here.
Yeah.
This little guy.
It's a little alligator of some kind.
This is a poison alligator crocodilian.
Oh, a poison alligator crocodilian.
Yeah, it's actually neither. It's actually a member of the snake family, one of the few snakes with limbs.
Interesting, yeah.
Now, you'll notice it has one eye on each side of its head.
Right, and this one looks kind of like a lazy eye. Or no, they move independently.
That's true, yes. You might be wondering why he does that. Well, we wonder also. We haven't quite figured it out. We're hoping maybe we can discover more.
Some of these animals
don't do that.
Still studying.
So, hold on. He's going to want to get right inside of your mouth.
Oh.
So just let him get in there. Oh, nope. Yep, let him. Yes, okay. No, he's gonna. No, he's not taking. No,
terrible.
That's we were hoping to see if he could find a mating location on one of your hosts today, but unfortunately he's died there in your arms. We're going to take him here. Oh, wait. So you get to keep the limbs eject upon death. So if you want to hold on to one of those, there.
I don't.
In parts of Florida, that's considered to be a delicacy. So go ahead and treat yourself to that.
We're not in Florida. This is this is very disgusting.
We've got some paperwork that'll explain it all for you later. So we've got another. This big guy wants to come out here.
Oh, I don't think I'm ready for this.
This is going to take some help. So look at this.
Huge.
Yes, this is Greg. He works in our zoo.
Greg, nice to meet you, Greg.
Yeah, and he's responsible for mixing all the different diets for our various fish populations at the zoo. We're one of the only zoos in the world that has a dedicated fish nutritionist.
And so he specializes in fish.
Yeah.
Is that right, Greg?
Please don't speak directly to Greg.
I'm sorry.
There's a reason why we brought Lonnie Banks on the show.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right. Sorry about that.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Greg, but I don't know the answer to that. So, Greg, why don't you bring out... yes, take a look at this. What we have here is the world's only freshwater piranha.
Why would you not have it in water? It's just in a Ziploc bag. What the hell is wrong with you?
We wanted you to get up close and personal with the freshwater piranha.
Even I'm not an animal activist, and even I know this is not
look
good
at those
for the
teeth.
animal. Yeah,
look at them. Both of those teeth are so big. It's among the largest teeth of any freshwater fish.
It looks like it's struggling to survive. I think you should take this back to the tank real quick.
Tank?
Yeah. Did you not bring any water?
Oh, I thought you meant like an army tank. I'm thinking of a fish in a tank. That would be a sight. It's right there.
That certainly would.
That reminds me of a joke.
It's interesting.
So something I get asked a lot is, when can I come back on your show?
Well, today it was.
Take your time.
Ooh, well, that's somebody you'd have to talk to. I think Stacy works the scheduling.
I think we should bring in, Greg, take a note. I'd like to bring in the ring-faced lemur for you to see next time.
Ring-faced lemur? Oh, yeah. Next time. You don't have it with you today?
Did we bring that guy?
I'd love to see a lemur.
Oh, no, we did. Sorry. And he's died.
Oh my God!
But you know what?
You guys are not excellent at taking care of these animals.
The thing you learn working with animals is they die. You know, they're not permanent. They're not. They come and they go, so to speak. And
I guess
you just hope to grab an alligator crocodile leg along the way.
Right, or several of them. Do you
There's at
want
least-
one of these? I am not going to eat these.
No, I don't. I try not to eat the animals from the zoo, Adrian. That's inappropriate.
Well, you hinted earlier that it's a delicacy.
Yes, in Florida. You've been to Florida. It's
true. Florida
like
is
a third world country.
That is true. Well, thank you very much for being on the show today.
Of course, yeah. I hope to come back soon. Bring, we've got a real long tortoise I'd like for you to see next time we come on the show.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in and all these wonderful animals. And Greg, it's once again.
Please don't talk to Greg. In fact, I'll show him out. Thank you so much. We'll be on soon.
That was Lonnie Banks, animal activist. Although I use the term activist with air quotes here because I'm pretty sure he's going to kill all of those animals by week's end. We're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, Genuine Jenkins is here. I was actually reading his Wikipedia entry at the last break, and it's pretty impressive. So I'm looking forward to that when the Good Evening Show returns. Hey, Henry.
Yep.
There are times when I wonder, is there more to life?
Yeah.
Do you ever play sports?
Yeah.
You play basketball? Mm-hmm. Play soccer?
Twice.
Do you play tennis?
What?
Backgammon?
Yeah.
Chess? Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
I've never, ever done that.
Do you go cross-country skiing? Well, forget about all those things.
Done.
Because what I'm here to talk to you about today is computer camp.
Computer camp?
Computer camp.
What's that?
For kids that just don't want to get out and enjoy the summer, why not sit indoors on a computer?
But why would I want to do that?
Well, because your parents paid some money and they dropped you off and you got to go.
Do I get something out of it? Like skills?
You probably learn something. You most likely just play a bunch of games and hang out with other nerds like you.
Are there, like, computers there?
Yeah, there's a few of them. You have to sign up. There's a rotation.
So how do I sign up?
Your parents know. It's cool. Computer camp. Okay, welcome back to the Good Evening Show. This is your host, Senator. Hey, can you get away from the microphone? I'm just... What, bro? Just come at me. Why don't you go down the hall. Just green room's down the hall. Go down the hall. Sorry about that, listeners. Welcome back to the Good Evening Show. This is your host, Adrian Wolfman, and I have the utmost honor of introducing rising folk legend, Genuine Jenkins.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome to
you.
the show. It's an honor to have you here. I know everyone's clamoring to have you on their programs.
Sure, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. It's has your life changed in the past since your meteoric rise?
It's hard. When we were writing songs back in the 60s, there were just so many things to sing about. So many times where they were changing, and it's not like that today. Really, it's just not much to really write about.
So, well, that's interesting that you're just now gaining, major attention and popularity. I mean, you did garner some success in the '60s for your anti-war songs,
Sure,
if I believe. But now you're actually getting critical acclaim from across the board. Your record is being touted as not just a folk masterpiece, but really just like across the board, like anyone can enjoy it.
I think people are just hungry for somebody who's not afraid to, not say what's on their mind.
Sure, yeah. Well, without further ado, I believe we have you're going to play a song for us.
Yeah, this is a new song. This is called I Feel Like I Got 24 Hours to Live. And if I don't, then maybe I was wrong.
Genuine Jenkins, Good Indian Show.
There's nothing wrong with Chicago's brand new sugar soda tax. I see them, they're marching and they're rising on the hill. They're marching until they don't know what they're marching to. The next time that you plan to punch a Nazi in the face, maybe you should think, would you want to get hit punched in the face? And that's all we got right now, for that one.
Oh, this is a work in progress from Genuine
Jenkins. No, that's
Jenkins.
it. That's a song.
Oh, that's the whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. That was great.
Yeah, I get a couple more I'd like to do.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. This is unprecedented. We have another song from Genuine Jenkins here. All right, take it away. I'm gonna get off the mic.
It's a song called Why Did Millennials Kill Applebee's? Also Buffalo Wild Wings. Also The Napkin.
That was great. Yeah, it's really relevant and poignant.
And I wrote that song 25 years ago this week.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. Prophetic folk songs from Genuine Jenkins here.
That's from my record US 41, Once Again, One More Time. Bringing it all back to the highway. Again.
When was that released?
It came out in 19.
Yeah.
65.
From Genuine Jenkins.
That was the first record where we went. People were pretty upset. We were playing at the folk festivals, and people were upset because we went metric. Yeah, I think we got time for one more, if you got time for one more. And I knew as soon as I saw you that we and I would go through, and we would know it too. But I know I saw your face and the tears that bright your eyes. We were both so disappointed in the Zoolander 2.
I was too, honestly. The Zoolander 2, the movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that one was written recently.
That's an old song. We've been playing that one on tour since 1974.
Wait a minute. So you've been playing that song before
that
the
comes
Zoolander
from the Zoolander.
fan.
That was a Zoolander 2 live record. That came out in 1979.
Okay, 1979. And that's the name of a record?
That's a whole record. That's an EP.
Well, once again, Genuine Jenkins, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for joining us again today. I'd like to just, if we had a studio audience here, I'd ask him to give a hand to Wyoming State Senator Jeffrey Percel, animal activist Lonnie Banks, and pour one out for all the animals that died on the show today. And finally, for folk singer Genuine Jenkins, you can pick up his back catalog with albums such as Zoolander 2.
Very suspicious. I don't know if I trust that was...
You haven't heard it on vinyl. That's the only way to listen to Genuine Jenkins. And it's the only way to do anything with Zoolander 2.
Yeah, you were starstruck when he was here.
I had to step out.
You a Jenkins fan?
Yeah, he's in the top 3.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. That's going to do it for us.
Once again, thank you for joining us on the Good Evening Show, and we'd like to, as always, bid you a good evening.
Good evening.
A Jamgina production.